If you choose your food just by browsing on the big claims of the package, stay tuned. On this video, we will give you a few pointers so you can read in between the lines of food packaging. Hi everyone, it's Anaeli from Shift to Balance. On this video, you will learn how to read food packaging and ingredients list. We will get into a small checklist for guidance and some major no-nos. But before we start, I want to clarify. Here in Shift to Balance, we're all about whole foods. It's our go-to and motto. But we understand that at times, life happens and convenience in the form of processed food, it's reasonable. Therefore, it is really important to understand the details of the packaged foods so you can make smarter choices that go along with your health goals and the convenience you're looking for. Let's get started. Step 1. Read the fine print first. Skip all the labels, logos, and big claims. Go for the ingredients list. It's usually on the back, on a small corner, or below the nutrition facts label. Read it thoroughly. Big no-nos in step 1. Major list. Aim for products that have 5 ingredients or less. Usually that means they're less processed. Big no-no number 2. Avoid products that have words in the ingredients list that you can barely pronounce or that they look like they belong in a chemistry book. And number 3, discard products with lots of ingredients accompanied by words like refined, unbleached, enriched, fortified. They clearly have been tampered with and they probably are not healthy for you. Rule of thumb for step 1. You want to have an ingredients list that is as close as possible to its whole foods form. If the product has a major list, but you still want to give it a second chance, usually the top 3 ingredients are the major components of the food. If in those ingredients you find refined grains, any type of sugar, or hydrogenated oils, that product is slightly unhealthy for you. If you have doubts on some of the words, Google them. See for yourself what they mean. Step number 2. What do you gain from the product? Proceed to read the nutrition fact. It's merely a point of reference, but it can help you clear options by comparison. The nutrition fact is composed of 4 sections: the servings, the calories, the nutrients, and the daily value. The servings is an amount of food for reference to the information given in the other 3 sections. The calories express the amount of energy you get from the servings already established. And here it gets tricky. You must evaluate if the servings portion is true and honest to your intake. If not, that calorie number is not quite right. Then comes the nutrients section. To me, the most important part after the ingredients list. Here is where you see if the product is supporting your personal dietary needs. If for health concerns, you are moderating your fat, protein, or carbs intake, this is the indicator you seek. Pick and choose accordingly. The daily value percentage is the last section, by expressing the percent of the nutrient it contains. When compared to what is recommended of the daily intake, you should be able to determine what product is better suited for your dietary need. Big no-nos in step number 2. First, choosing products solely on their calories number. Remember, quality in calories is important. Number 2, choosing foods high on added sugars. I would advise that you compare and evaluate this percentage with the ingredients list. You see, sugars usually sneak in during processing, so you always have to have an eye out for terms like this, as they represent some form of sugar added to your food. I'll give you a minute. I know it's a lot. You know what? Easier, take a screenshot. So, rule of thumb for step number 2. The less added sugar, the better. And seek for a good distribution of nutrients. So that's it. A 2-step easy to do checklist. I know, easier said than done. And you're right, you can get a little bit overwhelmed at the end. It's not an exact black and white formula, and a lot of judgment calls based on personal preference and bio-individuality need to be made. So, I'll do a little exercise with 2 products so you can have an idea and see how your evaluation should go. So let's entertain the idea that I love to snack on crackers. So I have these 2 products here. I'll keep their brands blurred because the idea here is to teach, not to name call, okay? So, step number 1, read the fine print first. Ignore all big claims and labels and logos and go straight to the ingredients list. So we have, for product number 1, we have brown rice flour, sesame seeds, potato starch, quinoa seeds, safflower oil, flax seeds, amaranth seeds, tamari soy sauce powder, maltodextrin, corn, salt, and salt. Contains soy. For what I'm reading, I recognize and know most of these products. There's one I'm not loving, the maltodextrin and the corn thing, but it really doesn't have any of the major no-nos. It has no refined grains or added sugar or sugars or hydrogenate oils in the main 3 ingredients. So I'll keep this around and do a little further studying, but for now it's okay. On to product number 2. Let's see, on its ingredients it has unbleached enriched flour, wheat flour, niacin, reduced iron, thiamine mononitrate, vitamin B1, riboflavin, vitamin B2, folic acid, canola oil, palm oil, sugar. Should I keep reading? Yes, read it thoroughly. Salt, leavening, calcium phosphate, baking soda, high fructose corn syrup, soy lecithin, and natural flavors. This has all the major no-nos of step number 1. So I would have discarded immediately. Let's do step number 2 in product number 1 because it still has potential, but let's do step number 2. So we would go to the nutrition fact. It says the serving size is 14 crackers. So that means the values on the other section will respond to those 14 cracker servings, okay? And I think it's a fair number because usually crackers with some type of dip or something like that, and 14 is quite a lot. So I'll accept these values as fair, okay? So it has 140 calories per the 14 crackers. It has 20 grams of total carbohydrate, which means 7% of the whole intake of carbohydrate that you should have. It has 3 grams of protein and 5 grams of fat. I mean, for me, that's how I go: carbs, protein, and fat. You may have a different order, and that's personally fine. That's okay. For what I see here, I like, and most importantly, it has 0 total sugars, 0 added sugar. That's a major win. In response to the nutrients, we have 67 milligrams of calcium, 1 milligram of iron, and 91 milligram of potassium, which is fine. Compared to my other, like what I eat on a regular basis, this percentage are fine, and they are aligned with everything else that I would be eating in a day or accompanying this cracker with. So after evaluating the ingredients list and the nutrition facts, I think it's a product in the green. I would definitely buy it and eat it. I will feel okay if my 1-year-old eats it too. So, I mean, for me and our household rules, it's good to go. Good. So there you have it. That's how the evaluation should go. Knowing how to read food labels is important when you're looking for quality in your food. It can be a bit overwhelming if you don't seek the right information. But once you get it, you become a smart shopper that gets healthier with each choice. I will always suggest and encourage people to try and avoid processed foods. Most of them have a healthier, less processed version. Cookies, chips, and dips have home-cooked versions that allow you to have more control over the ingredients and the overall quality of the food. But it's okay if you're selective of the processed foods that you eat. So that wraps it up for today. But make sure to follow Shifts to Balance content this week because there's more on food labels. Until next time, stay happy, stay healthy, stay balanced.